I'm Andy Wood with another video blog post. Today's topic, the vice presidential debate. Like many of you, I'm looking forward to this debate. I've been told that it's going to be a lot of fun. We've been prepared for such drama and hijinks, and it will be entertaining. But I'm also going to watch the debate a little bit more seriously, because the issues that are being raised are simply too important to treat it as a soap opera. Governor Sarah Palin and Senator Joe Biden approach the issues that our nation face from such differing perspectives that we owe it to ourselves to watch them carefully. So how will I watch the debate? Let me emphasize, I'm no cultural elite. I'm not trying to tell you how you should study this campaign, but for myself, I'm going to be looking for three basic things. But before I tell you what they are, let me tell you what I'm not looking for. I've seen a lot of coverage by the prognosticators and the pundits of previous debates, and often the question comes down to who is more presidential. I don't know how I feel about the policy, but she just seemed more presidential. What does that mean? I have no idea. I have a suspicion, though, that presidentiality refers to the ability for someone to look like a president. It's kind of like truthiness. It just feels right. So I feel that this person looks like someone I saw on television or a movie. That doesn't count. I think we can do better. So when I study this debate, these three criteria will guide my evaluation. First, I'm looking for clash. Clash is a debate term, and it sounds a little snippy, but what it means is pretty basic. A sustained contest of alternative ideas in a similar frame of reference. So let me give you a counterexample. What most debates do is have candidates lobbing platitudes and talking points at each other. If you don't mind the cliche, like ships in the night. Clash is when a debater actually listens to her or his interlocutor. So debater A says, I think that we should remove our troops from Iraq in 10 months. And candidate B says, 10 months, eh? All right, how are we going to do that? How are we going to afford it? How can we remove those troops so quickly, so precipitously? What dangers do we face? Do we have the material, the infrastructure? Let me give you a counterplan. And then candidate A replies, oh, I've actually talked to the generals on the ground, and they tell me. And then that candidate provides some evidence. Back and forth, back and forth. That's clash. Clash demonstrates respect, that the debaters are willing to actually listen to each other, and it also respects the listener enough to actually engage in a much more serious conversation and be present in the moment. Clash is a very good thing. The second thing that I look for in a debate is specificity. I am amazed by so many voters who tolerate the glittering, ambiguous generalities that pass for civic discourse these days. I'm pro-life, I'm pro-choice. What does that mean when there are so many variants and so many details to explaining why one would be this way or propose this approach? Now, not to be too partisan, but I am aware of at least one vice presidential candidate who was recently asked, what do you read? What newspapers, what magazines, what periodicals give you insight to understanding the problems that we face? And the response was, oh, I read pretty much everything that's put in front of me. The questioner probed a little further and said, but what do you read? Oh, I read everything, and continued on that line of thinking until finally the person being interviewed said, look, don't make fun of me. I read everything. I don't have to have a specific answer. Yeah, you do. I think that we ought to expect some specificity. So if you're going to be for something, understand the legislation. Understand the Supreme Court decisions that have some effect. Have specific plans with several steps. You want to cut taxes? If you want to make us safer? Okay. Go a level deeper and actually show us, respect us enough to show us the guts of your plan. That kind of specificity bodes well in an era of complexity. Which leads to the third thing that I'm looking for in the debate, and that is nuance. Now let me be absolutely clear. This is a dangerous world, and there are some times in which nuance is not the first appropriate response. I don't have to tell you some of the examples of the existential threats that our country has faced, in which there was no room for nuance. The response had to be quick and appropriate, but without any kind of ambiguity. I get that. But most of the rest of the problems that we face demand nuance. I mean, think about our economy. I don't really understand everything that's going wrong, but I understand enough to know that the solutions to what can go right are not in the province solely of Democrats or Republicans. There's enough problems to go around. I think there are a few solutions that can come from various perspectives on this issue. Similarly, this is a multipolar world. And yes, we don't like a lot of the things that many countries do. North Korea, Iran, China, Russia. But treating them as if we're still in some cowboy diplomacy era of I'm right, you're wrong, my way or the highway, you're either with us or against us, doesn't seem to make sense. That in fact, people, nations, and other rational actors have reasons for the things that they do. Nuance allows us to put ourselves into the mind of the person, even with whom we disagree, and allows us to consider that there are more than one ways to solving a problem. Under certain circumstances, there's only one way. But most of the time, a little bit of nuance goes a long way. So those are the three things that I'm looking for when I see this debate: clash, specificity, and nuance. I emphasize again, this should be a fun debate. But now is not the time to turn our political discourse into a circus sideshow. So I'm going to watch the debate carefully, and I hope you will too, because now more than ever, people have got to make their case, because we have no time to waste.